Faisal Kawoosa and I am here with another round of Techarc. First of all, the biggest achievement for this week was, I think, crossing the 1 billion mark for jabs. We need to do more, but at the same time, keep all the precautions and maintain the COVID appropriate behavior. Well, from the technology side, this week was full of excitement. We had some very important launches. Apple launched its all other major devices like the MacBook and pods and others, things out there. And we had Google, Pixel latest edition also launched, and then there was, a special edition launched by Samsung also. While launches are very normal and it's very much expected that with for every series, for every brand, we will have a refresh every year. But there is something interesting which is taking shaping up in the entire technology domain right now, essentially from the devices perspective. The trend is of backward integration, where we are seeing handset and other device OEMs getting into the chip space and in manufacturing their own SOCs. This raises many questions, and we are yet to really understand what are going to be the long-term implications of this change. Will the pure play third-party chip companies exist in future? What will be their role? What will be their business model? I think these are the questions, early questions, which we are right now just pondering upon. If this trend of OEMs integrating backwards and launching their own chips continues, which seems to be there are already media reports that Oppo is also now working on its own chip. This is going to be an interesting work out there. So why are these device makers getting into the chip space? I think time and again we have understood that the biggest differentiator in all this is ultimately the processor, the SOC out there. And OEMs over the years have been, one of the main elements and key selling points has been the chipset they are using. And in all their launches, through their communications, through their promotions, we see a lot of emphasis being made out on the brand of the chip and the model of the chip being used. So definitely, because chipset is the powerhouse and a lot of features and specifications depends on it. So that is where now these OEMs are probably thinking of owning those differentiations, owning those IPs, so that it becomes difficult for others to replicate those things. And they could set up the precedents out there. The second thing is these OEMs have a lot of data and they understand the end user, which the chipset maker doesn't have, because chipset maker is still not very well connected with the end user. And they don't get to understand the user behavior, the changing user behavior needs as much as an OEM does. So that kind of input and that kind of insight and understanding that an OEM has is what can power the chips of tomorrow, and what these OEMs are thinking around. Because this going forward is not going to be a simple data processing affair, but there's a lot of data powered processing going to happen, where we see now AI, machine learning and other such things getting to the core of the chip. The second thing which is worth discussing this week is the media reports that the government has sent out notifications to the Chinese OEMs about further scrutiny of the components and device equipment they're using in their smartphones. Well, it's a welcome step, because yes, we should be knowing what is going to the end users, essentially from the point of view of what are the hidden capabilities of these components and the applications that are loaded onto them. But I think doing a differentiation and a distinction basis country is not fair. We should be doing a scrutiny irrespective of the origin of the devices and try to understand how the user interests could be compromised due to the hidden capabilities of these devices and the applications that are there. As a country, definitely we should have more and more scrutiny of not just hardware but of the applications as well. Because if we look the global cases that are being reported of any breach or any such compromise, I think predominantly it is an application level issue or a software issue than a hardware issue which has come to the notice. So while it's good that we look at OEMs, I think at the same time we need to investigate the app makers also and see what's happening at the app level, and apps which are catching up attention of maybe younger generations. For instance, gaming apps, dating apps. These are very vulnerable areas and need to be investigated. So is the new area of cryptocurrencies out there. So that's something we should be, I think, emphasizing on along with scrutiny of devices, because we need to look at these things holistically. While there is already a scrutiny mechanism at the network level, I think there needs to be a scrutiny mechanism at the end user level for both hardware as well as the software. Lastly, Techarc is rolling out a special initiative with what we call Smart Seller Initiative. We will be, so it's a dedicated space for the retail community, retailers, distributors, dealers, and others out there, which are the frontline brand ambassadors. And they are the people who convince a customer on the floor to invest in a brand and buy a product. What this program is all about is that we are going to present data, insights, information, and other relevant pieces of content to the retailer community in the manner they can understand the best, and with support from Mr. Ajay Sharma, who is a mobile industry veteran. I'm sure this is going to be a very enabling initiative for the retailer community, and we'll try our best to make available information in a democratized way for these retailers to stay smart and sell these devices, these smart devices, in a very smart way as they remain updated with the latest information. We will be having its first interaction, the inaugural interaction, in a recorded format, and that should be made public sometime early next week. And keep out watching for that space, and we'll be coming up with more and more info for that. So I request you all to support us in this initiative and make it impactful, and let us know if you feel you can contribute in this endeavor of ours. Well, this is what I had to share with you all for this week. So we need to look at the interesting trend of OEMs getting to the chip space and its impact on the chip industry. We need to probably explore doing a holistic scrutiny of devices at hardware as well as application level, which devices which are with the end users, so that their interests are safeguarded. And finally, I welcome you all to join and support us in the Smart Seller Initiative. That's all what I have for today. Wishing you all a great weekend ahead. Thank you.